The bold and the beautiful spoilers tease that Katie will have a lot on her mind where Will is concerned. Katie's recent focus has been on getting Bill back into her son's life, but that's been a struggle. Bill has been absent from Will's life for months, and Katie's finding that it's not so easy for Bill to come back into the picture and reclaim his role as dad. Will outright rejected Bill and demanded to be returned to his mom during what was supposed to be an overnight stay at Bill's mansion. And more trouble is looming. B&B spoilers say that Bill will find himself in a difficult position when an important business meeting arises at the same time he's supposed to pick Will up. It seems that Bill will have nothing but difficulties in trying to be a father to Will. At the same time, Thorne has made fatherly inroads with Will. The simple fact is that Thorne's been there when Bill hasn't been. And B&B spoilers say that Thorne will start putting pressure on Katie to make a custody decision regarding Will. Bill and Katie currently have joint custody, but Bill hasn't been living up to his end of the agreement. Bill's provided financial support, but he hasn't been there physically and emotionally for his son. Thorne will want Katie to think about seeking full custody of Will. He'll even pledge to Katie that he'll step up to be a father figure in Will's life if Bill doesn't do so. Katie's basically been fulfilling the role of full custody parent for a while now, so Thorne will probably think that it's only right for Katie to have legal full custody. Katie will consider Thorne's suggestion, but she'll fret about it, and it's easy to understand why. She'd likely have a good case against the perpetually absent Bill. But Bill isn't going to just sit by and watch Thorne take over dad duty with his flesh and blood. Bill can't stand Thorne, and he especially doesn't want a Forrester raising his son. So Bill will probably punch back if Katie does go the full custody route. He may not have a great case as a dad, but he's pretty connected and has been known to bribe a judge or two. Katie could really be opening herself up to a nasty legal battle, and she could conceivably lose if Bill plays dirty. Do you think that Katie will go after full custody of Will? And will this kick off a nasty custody battle between Katie and Bill? In Brooke's cabin, Hope and Liam kissed by the fire in the candlelit room. Liam wasn't sure he should be there again because of Ridge. Hope didn't think Ridge would throw a party, but she said that Ridge was respecting Steffi's wishes. Liam responded that Ridge was protective of his daughter, and Liam believed he'd be the same way. Liam touched Hope's stomach. Hope said she and the baby were lucky to have Liam in their life. To Hope and Liam, it felt like a new era. Hope said she couldn't feel better about their future. He asked what she saw in the future. Hope replied that it was more like a feeling. She felt a sense of peace for them. All she'd ever wanted was a stable, happy life with the man she loved. She knew Liam would be there for her. He said they'd be there for each other. Hope and Liam began kissing and taking off each other's clothes. After they had sex, they curled up under a blanket by the fire. It seemed like deja vu to Liam because they'd done it the last time they'd become engaged. Hope believed it was different because the last proposal had been about healing the past. The new proposal was about the future and their child. Hope always wanted their lives to be full of good surprises. Liam said he could make that promise immediately without vows. Hope was grateful to have Liam in the child she'd always wanted. Liam decided to have a talk with the baby. He put his ear to Hope's belly and pretended to listen to what the child was saying. Liam replied that they couldn't want to meet the baby, either, and then he and Hope kissed. At Bill's house, Bill had toy cars spread out on the coffee table, and he revved up his favorite one. Will sat on the sofa, engrossed in a video game on a handheld device. Will didn't flinch when the car zoomed off the table. Bill asked what was wrong and said Will loved to play with the cars. Will replied that he liked video games. Bill offered to learn how to play the video game, but Will said it was a one-player game. Bill suggested that they shoot hoops. The video game made a loser noise. Will exclaimed that Bill had made him mess up. Marching off, the boy complained, "This stinks." Later, Will was back to tapping on the gaming device. Bill offered to watch a movie and then recalled how much fun they'd had playing stock forecasting in the past. Will wanted to go home, but Bill told the child that he was at home and had a room upstairs. Will asked when he could see his mother. Bill said they were having a boys' night. "I want to see Mom," Will replied. At Katie's house, Thorne and Katie stood in the candlelit living room, staring out the window at the moon. They talked about Will being at Bill's house for the night, and Thorne relayed that he'd expressed his disappointment in Bill's parenting skills to Bill. Katie figured it hadn't gone over well. Thorne and Katie believed Will missed and needed his father. Thorne was sorry he'd mentioned Bill. Katie replied that Bill and Will hadn't spent much time alone. Thorne believed that Bill was a resourceful guy, and the father and son would find a way to entertain themselves. And so will we, Thorne added. Katie and Thorne made out on the sofa. She took his hand to lead him upstairs. Her phone rang. No, Thorne said. Katie stated that she had to. She answered the phone for Bill and asked if Will was okay. Sort of, Bill replied. Bill said Will didn't want to play with his cars or do any of the things they had done in the past, and it wasn't working. Katie said Bill was the father, and Will was Bill's son. Katie was sure that Bill would figure it out. Katie heard Will asking if she was on the phone and when he could go home. She told Bill to tell the child that she'd pick him up in the morning. Bill replied that she'd heard the boy, and Will didn't want to be there. Bill wanted to take Will home. Katie suggested dessert. Bill had already given the child dessert and refused to bribe the boy to spend time with his father. Katie had put books in Will's bag. It was near bedtime, and she suggested that Bill and Will read together. Bill stated that they'd have to do it another time. Katie asserted that she'd asked for just one night, and Thorne was already there. In the background, Will said he didn't want to stay at Bill's house. Bill told Katie that he'd been right about it being too soon. He offered to make it up to her and watch Will while Katie and Thorne went to dinner. Katie said Bill was the father, not the babysitter. Bill replied that she was the mother, and the child wanted her. Katie had faith that Bill could handle it. Bill asked what would happen if Will woke up at night. Katie said Bill would comfort Will and sleep in the same room with him. Katie asked Bill to be patient and tell Will that his mother loved him and would see him in the morning. Katie hurried off the phone before Bill could say more. At Katie's house, Thorne asked if Bill was having problems. Frustrated, Katie replied that Bill might be a little rusty. Thorne thought she'd given good advice. Katie was sorry. She'd wanted the night to be their night. Thorne refused to let a call from her ex ruin anything. She said that she'd wanted them to focus on each other, but he replied that he never expected her to turn off her focus on Will. It was one of the things he admired about her. I'm in love with you, Thorne stated. Katie was surprised. She hadn't expected him to say that. He said life was short, and he didn't want to hold back feelings. He wanted to tell her and show her what she meant to him. The two kissed, and Thorne took her hand to lead her upstairs. There was a knock at the door. Thorne rolled his eyes. Bill called out from the other side of the door. Katie opened it. Bill and Will stood on the doorstep. Bill said the child had insisted upon going home. Will nodded in agreement, and Katie took the child upstairs for bed. Thorne told Bill that Katie had asked for one night, and Bill couldn't even do it. Bill replied that he and Katie would do what was best for their son, regardless of any plans Thorne might have made, and it was Bill's job to look out for both of them. Thorne stated that it had been Bill's job to look after Will that night. Bill asked if Will or a botched attempt at a date was more important. Thorne asked when Bill had ever put anyone's feelings above his own and what caring about Will and Katie really meant to Bill. In Thorne's view, Katie didn't ask for much, and she couldn't even depend upon Bill for one simple thing. Thorne believed that she deserved better, and Bill asked if that was supposed to be Thorne. Blowing out candles around the room, Bill declared that the party was over. Thorne didn't think Bill even realized how lucky he was to have the precious time with Will. Thorne wished he still had it. Thorne believed that kids didn't push to make one go away, but instead, to see if one would stay. He didn't think Bill understood that and said Bill had let his son down that night. Bill replied that he might be interested in what Thorne had to say if Bill had an interest in dresses. Thorne asserted that he didn't have respect for Bill as a person or as a parent, but Bill had a great kid who loved and needed his father. Entering the room, Katie agreed that it was true. Katie apologized to Thorne for the abrupt end to their evening. They kissed, and Thorne exited. Katie demanded to know what had happened. Bill said Will had wanted his mother. Katie asked if Bill had tried, and he bellowed that he had tried. Bill said he'd tried everything he could to make Will happy, from cars to video games,